I had a helper today that wouldn't leave me alone when I was putting all my ideas together for this video. So Bud, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about video game intros. Clearly Cloud is so invested in all of this. Yes, I want to talk about some of my favorite video game intros, just the ones that set the tone for an amazing story. Now before I get started, I just want to give a shout out to some of the more obvious ones like Mega Man 2, Legend of Zelda, Ninja Gaiden, Bioshock, Final Fantasy VI. Those are all fantastic and all fantastic games in their own right. Those are some of the more obvious ones, and I want to go with just some of my favorites. So for this first one, let's start off with something awesome. Let's start off with one of the best games on the Super Nintendo. Let's start off with fucking Contra III. I haven't talked about this game enough on the channel. I absolutely love Contra III, and I will probably do a full review on it soon. But the intro to this game is amazing. It's so simple and just sets the groundwork perfectly. I mean, this game pulls no punches at all. This ominous cloud slowly descends from the city to this low hum of music and a slow heartbeat. And then it starts this trail of light up to it, and then BAM! The whole city is completely fucked. The face of Red Falcon appears, taking credit for the destruction, and that is seriously the stuff of nightmares. After that, there's only one choice that you have, and that's to attack aggressively. Now I don't want to get too far into it. Like I said, I will probably do a full review of Contra III soon because I love this game so much, and the art and design of it is absolutely fantastic. Do we really have to say any more about it? I mean, it's fucking Contra. This game's amazing. This next one, a little bit different. Not a retro game from any of these systems. It's a PC game. It's one of my favorite games of all time, too, and it still holds up. That's HalfLife II. I fucking love the Half-Life series. At this point, also, I don't even know if I would like a Half-Life 3 to come out because this game is honestly so perfect. It says right here on the back of the box, by PC Gamer, the best game ever made, and to be honest, even now to this day, this game holds up so well in storytelling, obviously, in gameplay, and how it keeps you engaged, and how the levels just keep changing. In one part, you're fighting against this overwhelming force, another part, you're solving puzzles. This game is an absolutely flawless 10 out of 10, and rightfully deserves the pedestal that it's put on. So the first Half-Life had you only in the Black Mesa facility, and then finally to the alien dimension of Zen, where the G-Man then puts you in stasis. This game has you waking up after an indeterminate amount of time has passed, and the G-Man looking at you, weird as ever, with some cryptic speech. The ambivalence works so well because you don't know what the hell is going on, and it's all visual storytelling. So the world fades into view just to show you that you're on a train covered in trash and graffiti with bullet holes in the windows. The only two other occupants are wearing the same nondescript jumpsuits, and one of them states, "No matter how many times I've been relocated, I never get used to it." That line always resonated with me because this guy isn't going to work. He's being relocated, and forcefully at that. Now, as soon as you step off the train, a robot flies into your face and takes your picture, and then you're greeted by the giant Big Brother-looking billboard of Dr. Breen welcoming you to City 17. Now, everything about this helps to paint a bleak environment where identity has just been stripped away and you feel completely helpless to the powers that be. Eventually, you do come across Barney from the first game, who is one of the security officers, so now he's undercover as one of the civil protection units. And eventually you do come across a ragtag resistance force that he's working with. But this whole intro is genius, is that it sets up the entire world without one word of dialogue explaining it. Now again, I can go on and on and on about Half-Life 2 and how good it is and the moral and social implications of it. Just, if you haven't played this game yet and you have a Steam account, what is wrong with you? Go play it, just go experience it. This game is absolutely amazing. Alright, that last one was pretty heavy. Let's take it down a notch. Let's take it down to one of my favorite games on the NES. Let's take it down to Double Dragon. Now, any of the longtime viewers of my channel know that I absolutely love this game. Now, seriously, this has to be the most no-bullshit opener to any game ever. Quite simply, your girl's been taken from you, and you need to kick everyone's ass that gets in your way. Also, something that nobody ever talks about, I always love the foreshadowing that Jimmy Lee is in the intro and kind of off to the side, like the thugs are following his orders and he's the one in charge. Now, if you want to hear me ramble on a lot more about Double Dragon, I did a whole review talking about the art and design of this probably about 3 years ago, so I'll leave a link down below. After you watch this one, you want to hear more about Double Dragon, check out what I gotta say. Another game that's just a slight departure from what I usually talk about on this channel, Sonic CD. I absolutely adore the old Sonic franchise from the 16-bit era on the Genesis, and I really had to pick, Sonic CD is my favorite one out of all of those. That's not to say they're all fantastic, just Sonic CD was always my favorite one. Now, right from the start, you can just see how fantastic the animation is. So it starts off where you're staring into the distance when suddenly a cloud of dust cuts through and Sonic emerges at full speed, only to have the camera barely able to keep up with him. Also, I love that the animation of his legs looks like the figure-8 rubber band. That is exactly how his legs look in the Sega CD game, which is completely different from the way his legs look of the way they rotate in all of the other Sonic games. So after a whole bit of action of Sonic just running through this world, flipping all over the place, just doing his awesome Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, you see all these rocks come tumbling down in this giant imposing chain right in front of him. Also, shout out to that badass spin dash that he does going straight up through the rock. So awesome. Sonic then zips around this mountain right to the precipice and pauses just for a moment, then the camera pulls back and you see exactly what that chain is. It's Dr. Robotnik's Death Egg holding it to the planet. So the last shot that you have is so awesome. It's Sonic just spin dashing down the mountain and launching himself up onto the chain, and the camera pulls back again and you can just see the scale of how big this is, and Sonic just hopping along from link to link, and again camera pulls out even further and just runs right up to the egg and boom, game starts. Now seriously, that's how you begin a game. That's how you begin a Sonic game. How awesome would it be if there was a game done like that in that kind of animation style for a new generation of games? Just have one where it's Sonic just constantly running fast, exactly like it was in the old ones, but done in that old animation style. And it can clearly be done. Look at what happened with Cuphead with the Max Fleischer animations. It is totally possible. So let's see that. Let's see a new Sonic game done in that style. Right, this last one is another PC game. It's a game that I grew up on and one of my favorite franchises to this day, and that's Fallout, the original Fallout. I had a Mac growing up, so I didn't have too many choices of games, and I always loved post-apocalyptic games, so post-apocalyptic point-and-click adventure, I was all about it. Now, as soon as the credits fade out, this game just has a really ominous feel, where the title just fades in off-center. It just simply says, Fallout. Now, as the title is fading in, also the song Maybe by the Ink Spots begins to play in what sounds like an old record player, which again sets the tone perfectly. The whole opening very much has that 1950s nuclear war paranoia to it, juxtaposed over peaceful Americana life. It then cuts to a TV with a news report saying, "Our dedicated boys keep the peace in a newly annexed Canada by gunning someone down in the street and then waving, which isn't exactly keeping the peace." The camera then pans back, showing more ads for purchasing war bonds and a fancy new Corvega just for that low price of $200,000. You then get to see that the TV is set in a destroyed building and nuclear paranoia was very much a real thing. The music then starts to skip and fades out to just bleak emptiness, and that has to be the best setting for Fallout right there. Now the next part of it, I don't even feel I could do justice. I just wanted to talk about just the beginning intro of that, because the next part fades into the whole storytelling part with a narration done by none other than Ron Perlman, who is famous for doing the War Never Changes line. But that whole part, just watch it for yourself. It wouldn't even do it justice for me to talk about it. So those are just some of my favorite intros to video games. I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview of these. I could go way into details and probably do videos just on all of these, especially Fallout and Half-Life 2. I have a ton to say about those, so probably upcoming videos, maybe you'll see some of that. So guys, if you like this video, please click that like button down there. It goes a long way. And also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon, and keep it pixelated.
Squarepainter, Squarepainter. Here's the Robotnik's pints. He's a retro masterpiece. Earthbound's his favorite game. He's original on the scene. He's a Squarepainter.